people. Hello, hello. This is Kurisu. Today we're going to talk a little bit about, the playoff season and what the teams are looking like. Let's start in one moment. Okay. Alright, so as you can see here, we have our four teams. We have, I'm not going to pronounce all the names, because I don't want to butcher other people's teams' names, and that's kind of just jacked up, because, yeah. So yeah, let's start with the first two teams. Actually, let's start with where a lot of these teams came from. So, we actually have them split up into their divisions. So Last Tape and my team, and Sadfish and, the Figure 4, they're all Division 1 teams. Division 1 actually came out to be very contested. I made it to first, thankfully, because Sadfish actually took out the Figure 4, and that pushed me ahead. And a couple other people who were in contention, lost their games and whatnot, and, I was kind of looking for it. It was pretty close. There was a lot of different things, a lot of scenarios that could have taken place. And, the four from Division 1 could have been completely different. But this is what we have. So, we have a Norse team, Undead team, Lizard, and Orc. Playoffs actually ended up being sort of balanced in terms of the way the teams are, though it is a little bit more bash heavy. You'll see as we go down through the teams that even the bash teams don't really they're not so all in. They have a couple tricks in the way they grew the team, and it turned out pretty well. So yeah, you have Sadfish and then Figure 4. And then, Division 2, we had Knug, who was just dominating his league. I think he ended at 7-1-0. And so we have a human team, an elves team, a chaos team, and an underworld team. This is going to be an interesting one because no one in Division 1 has ever played against Underworld, and so I'm even myself, truthfully, I don't know how to take his team, but the fact that Vaccine is the one that's piloting it makes it dangerous, because Vaccine is a very good Blood Bowl player. He's won most of our leagues. Originally he had a ridiculously powerful vampire team who had werewolves that you just did not want to get in front of or get near. You were scared of those werewolves. They were just the bane of your existence. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going off in just the quarterfinals already. Because for my game, anyways, Last Tape is one of the only people who actually beat me. And I will say that Last Tape plays his team very well. I'm actually kind of worried about my first game, just because of that. Sebutai and Knug actually just played each other. They were the last game for each other in the regular season, and so was Sadfish and the Figure 4. And then you have the brother matchup. So yeah, we're gonna go down the teams. We're gonna talk about what each team kind of looks like, and I don't want to go too much into strengths and weaknesses, but there's a lot of things that can easily be pointed out. A lot of this is just kind of to get people an idea of what our league looks like and what our playoffs are matching up to be. So yeah, so we'll start off with Last Tape's team first. So as you can see, like I said, he's Norse team. He has 4 rerolls, which I'm actually kind of surprised a lot of people don't have a lot of rerolls. Most of the teams, I think, are at the standard 2-3. But I think a lot of people had to replace some members in the last 2 games looking at some of the roster. Because some of the teams look like they're missing 1 or 2 people that they had previously. So one thing to point out his Yeti's gone. Like, it's gonna miss the next match, which is pretty good for me. I don't really need that kind of thing in the game for me. Though I think he was the person I played where it was kind of down all the time. No, actually that was different. That was our other Norse player. But the fact that I don't have to worry about a 5 strength is pretty good for me. I feel really good about that situation. So, I mean, he has a lot of level 1 still, you know, runners, or a Norse werewolf, which I'm thankful is level 1 still. This guy, the one with block, actually no, it wasn't this guy that did the work, but I mean his team's pretty good. As you can see, he has a good variety of skills, mostly going for block, but he has a kicker, which is very important in playoffs, and he has really good. He has tackle, mighty blow, sure hands. I mean, he has really good stable lineup, and then he has tackle and pro. It's really good, I think, for Norse to have these kind of skills, like just a nice mixture of little things that add up to their power. So, especially with the tackle, because going in playoffs, you don't want to be caught off guard by certain skills, and I think dodge is one that gets overlooked a lot, unless you're in an elf-heavy league. For myself, I concentrate a lot on my ghouls, so someone having dodge really changes the way that I have to play my team. Because before, like, usually I play with the momentum, and I sometimes will just have my ghouls just run off. I'm very mindful of who has tackle and who doesn't, so I might have to do a little bit more caging and misdirection when I play him. So this guy is the bane of my existence. When I played last tape, this is the guy that wrecked me hard. Mighty blow, pile on, dodge. I think when I played him, he didn't have the dodge. But block, frenzy, like, all this is total kit. I mean, if I can... This is the guy I want to knock down, and I want him to stay down, which we'll go into that a little bit as we go into my teams. Last tape is really good at setting up frenzy and making it just ridiculous. Like, having him as my first match scares me and also makes me happy, because if I could get past him, I feel a lot better about where my team is now. Whereas when I played him, I think 4 or 5 weeks ago, so it would make me feel as though I have a real development in my team. But yeah, I'm really worried about this guy. Well, not just because level 4, but just because he's a momentum builder for this team. And with 4 rerolls, it's going to be even more dangerous. I mean, he only has 100,000 gold, so I don't have to worry about too much with inducements. And for the most part, a lot of people in the playoffs have around mid 1400s team value. There's a couple who are higher, but it's nothing too bad that I think you're going to be worrying about much about inducements outside of people putting their personal money in, which is another problem we're going to run into, and we'll get to the one team that can really upset that value. So I mean, this team is pretty solid. If he beats me, he has a really good chance, depending on who he goes up against. But really solid foundation for his team. And then we're going to go into my team, which is Undead. So, you know, I have 5 rerolls. I haven't really gone into cheerleaders or assistant coaches. I'm trying to just kind of pile up my money. And the reason for that is I have a lot of value on my team. I still have a lot of level 1s, but they're all skeletons, so it's not really a bad thing. Skeletons are pretty disposable. And like, if I want to, I can kind of kick Rami to get lower TV, but I don't really feel as though that's necessary. Having as many people as I do, it's, yeah, I want to make sure I'm not afraid to, you know, get knocked off, which with skeletons isn't, with the kind of team that Undead is, can happen. So going down, I have my whites. One is tackle, the other one's guard. This guy originally had guard, and then he died, and then I bought a new one. And then later season I got tackle, and it worked out well. Tackle is something you really need to have again. And the other one has guard. I'm a very guard-focused team, as you can see. I have, I think, 3 or 4 guards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 guards. No, wait. Yeah, 5. So again, I have a mummy with guard. I don't want that. Stop it. I have 3 sword. And then a skeleton with guard. A skeleton with sneaky get. The mentality behind this is that if I get a guy, if I have a guy who is causing me, there's a guy on the team that's causing me trouble, which again is like the pilot on dude. I want to make sure he stays down. And this is what the sneaky get's for. Like, I don't want to give you a reason to use some of your more powerful abilities, and this is just how I try to keep that from happening. Sneaky get's really good, just kind of keeping him around, and with guard, he's not really losing much. There's like so much guard on the team that he's still a really solid regular player, and then Sneaky Get just helps with the aftermath. Considering he's gonna hit level 3 soonish, I'm not really sure where else I'm gonna go with him, but it's pretty good for a skeleton. And then for my mummy, I have stand firm and guard. A ghoul is block guard, and almost tackle block. Again, I'm stacking guard because with as many skeletons as I have, I want to make sure that they are matching up to what the other teams have. It's not as though Division 1 was full of super strong teams, strength as a actual stat, but because of that, I want to kind of push myself further, so I have a little bit more of a stronger base than everyone else. It's not so much that I'm trying to be a super bashy team, but reducing the amount of dice you're able to access, and especially on a skeleton, is pretty good. I mean, I've had my skeletons kill people multiple times or cause really serious injuries. But yeah, I have 5 rerolls, which is the most out of the whole league, and then the 280k. I don't really know what I'm going to really use the money for. I think I'm going to use inducements for certain matchups. When we get to the certain teams, we'll kind of get a feel for who exactly those people are. So this match in general is going to be it's going to be super momentum based, more so than I think a lot of the other matches. Just because of the way our two teams are, with the Frenzy pilot on and all these really super aggro abilities on Norse, who most of them now have block and other related abilities. It's going to be pretty interesting. Like, whoever starts getting the first knockouts in this game will probably have the bigger advantage. And for Blood Bowl, that's kind of that's a really obvious comment, but because of the way these two teams play, if he knocks out my guards, it's a big impact. If I knocked out his frenzy guys, and I mean actually knock out, like they are gone and unconscious. If I can do that, I think it puts me in a much better place. Not having the Yeti again is a big deal. Having my mummies still there with the guard that they give is very, very influential. So going into Sebudai, he played Nug, and he survived. I mean, Nug isn't really a super aggro team because he's elves, but he's very developed in the team, and we'll talk about his team next, obviously. But so yeah, this is three rolls, 120k gold, very standardish for where we are in the league. A lot of level 1s, but I think his team is pretty well developed. He's also playing sort of a guardish base team, but he has really good players all around.